So now let's move on to the combo sounds or grid sounds, as you call them. They do like a kind of a question answer thing, which I think is really, really important for them to make sense, and like rhythmically answering and responding. Partly same sounds, partly differently synthesized sounds, but my philosophy is using everything to the max as you can, make the best out of what you have. And if it's one great sound, it doesn't mean that it only can do that. It can do also other interesting things with if you have a good tool set. So I've colored them as well, as you've seen before. So let's play them individually, all of them together, how they sound like and what they are actually doing. Okay, let's hear this. Let's zoom in a little bit to see.
Basically, just a loop.
But it's a loop, basically, just one alternation, and
with the track,
they had an alternation as well. I just brought kick and bass down a little bit so you can hear clearly what's going on with those elements.
They're present.
They are there, yeah. And same applies to them as well. They all have their own space. They all have their own mission. Let's see how they look in the spectrum, and then we can go quickly individually into each single one of them. So again, you have a very tamed frequency range, and you have stuff playing left and right. Some of the sounds are mono, some of the sounds are stereo. So they kind of really fill into those places that they're individually lacking. It's the same concept a little bit like with layering sounds on top of each other, just this now over time on the grid. And then together they create like a whole thing again that makes sense, that's alive in itself through the room simulation that it's doing. It's moving left and right. It's like some of them have slightly different reverb settings than others. Some have delays, some have not. So there we go. It's very simple. It's basically, as you said, it's a loop. So let's cut this down to this. There is other stuff on top which is added, which then creates the alternations and stuff. So just a simple stab with some reverb. If you don't know EOS, Audio Damage, also one of my very famous companies. I don't use much, but I have a few favorites. So very, very solid reverb that cuts through the mix if you're looking for something simple and effective. Good for Psytrance. I love it for Psytrance. I didn't have much use anywhere, maybe for like downbeat stuff, but anyway, it's very colored, I would say. So you have a plate, you have a stereo plate, you have a mono plate, and you have a super hall, which is like kind of, you can do those super big so you can.
That's definitely digital reverb.
Yeah, it's very digitally. It's colorful though. But yeah. Let's put it back just into the ballpark somewhere. Somewhere here it was, sorry. So yeah, a little bit of reverb. A little bit, that's another, it's the creative filter, which basically just does a low cut at 400 hertz. This is the creative filter I have on, and it's what it's doing. It's just a low cut at 430 hertz. You could do this with an equalizer as well, but it colors the sound as well, and it has a nice. The resonance is on high here, so what it does around that frequency, it cuts in sharp, so it cuts through a little bit more at the cutoff frequency, which makes it cut through the mix a little bit better as well. You could create it with an EQ as well, but I really love the sound of the Sonaxis. Let's give it a go. Let's give it a go with and without. You can hear that in context. It's a huge difference. Let's have a look also in the spectrum. I'm always showing the spectrum. I hope it's not annoying, but I'm showing this to you guys because it's very important to see what it's really doing and how it affects the whole mix and how individual sounds are treated and how they can look. Because you can. It's a very important tool. Frequency, stereo, all of that. So that's what I've spoken of. That's the 430, yeah?
Right.
So that's the cut I've been talking about. If you pay attention again. Without. With. So there is a spike here
that's
around.
A Q.
That's a Q, yeah. You could if you turn down the resonance, it would be softer. There you have a huge resonance. All this does is this.
Yep.
All right. So you could achieve the same with this. Yeah. I liked the sound of this better.
It's kind of workflow as well. Sometimes it's quicker.
Sometimes it is. Sometimes you create filter lines as well for filter automations for sounds.
You really tuned it with the sort of. I mean, it's got a definite note that you brought out. That
well, that's a stab in F sharp. Mm-hmm. That's the tonal. I'm not sure what. I believe it's massive or something.
Mm-hmm. But you're kind of enhancing one of the harmonics.
I don't think so in this case.
Okay.
I don't think so in this case. In this case, I was just going where it sounded well, where it cut through in the mix. Let's hear all of it in the mix, and I will just with and without, and change the resonance on it very, very quick. I lost the sound there, guys. Here it is. It disappears when it's off, although it has more or less the same volume. I was just playing with the volume here so you can hear it more evident. It just cuts through. Again, it appears to be a very little element that does nothing, but if you would mute it altogether, even if it's really low in volume, I will put it extra low. So even if it's very low, it does some kind of answer, you know. So and that keeps the flow and the sense. It makes it sends, it connects the single parts.
It's part of a wider tapestry of
you have the bigger picture, yeah. So the same as with the layering approach. So next one.
This one also really cuts through.
It cuts through.
That bit crush.
It cuts through. So here we have the same thing, just with the channel EQ, just the other way around. Yeah, that's the sound itself. Something completely different. It's the same sound in this, I believe. Hold on, let's check. It is the same sound. Okay, so this is like a creative use of
Same sample.
FX. Make the effects your bitch. Yeah. Do use it to your advantage. You can do a lot of stuff. So we have this one. Cuts out all the high content. Adds bit crusher. It's like a workflow I have. I like distortions, bit crushers.
So great.
Yeah, it's a cool, nice robotic sound.
Classic.
Yeah,
trance.
yeah. You can do the test. Do it with any sound. Just put a very resonant high cut on it. Play with the bit crusher. Put some delay on it. Yeah, it got a little bit
It's
crazy.
basically just
there.
a slap back the way
Yeah. It's just to connect the different parts. You can use delay to your advantage as well. Okay, so we have the bit crusher. Don't have to say anything about this. Just again enhancing a little bit here so it has a bit body, enhancing the highs a little bit, which now I would probably decide in a different way. Yeah, it still has a lot of high frequency content, but that's okay. It's already doing.
And the panned opposingly.
It's a bit panned. This one is a bit on the left. This one is a bit on the right. This one is another stab. A stab sound. Nothing spectacular on its own.
Where are you getting these sounds?
That's all. I'm a very, very heavy native instrument user. FMA, Razor. I love Razor, the ensemble for Reactor. Massive. I have a few contact libraries which are amazing. Just digging deep. I just love the native instrument sounds. It has everything I need, and
Massive, especially.
Massive is amazing. I mean, you know it. So yeah, a stab, little bit of body, little bit of high frequency. Lacked a little bit of body. Again, it's a lead sound where you would push mids or highs, not necessarily the lows, but I like some body. Try it out. Let's move to the next one. Whatever, guys.
It's more of like a percussive.
It's a
hit.
percussive. I think it's a very short, just reverb kick. Let's pull this up. That's what it is. That was from another track. I just pulled in. Don't be afraid to resample or recycle. You have done all of those sounds in meticulous. You know what I mean? Like you've meticulously and put a lot of passion in them. Use them. You can use them in a different way again. I mean, I would not use the same line or the same arpeggio again. But you can change up some notes, man.
It's amazing how much work people put in and then they only use it once in one track.
I'm guilty of that as well myself. I just recently again started because I was like, I'm doing this for a decade now, and like all those sounds, they're great on their own. It's just like that the overall production changed a little bit and the freshness. So you can work around it. It's a different kick and bass. Obviously, we had that conversation yesterday evening or earlier today, where you would listen to a bit of old school stuff and everything sounds more, shittier or boxier. Yeah, it's technology. You can freshen it up, but use your sounds. They're not necessarily not bad.
Or we shape them. Sometimes, again, I personally felt this almost shame element of like kind of using an old sound, like that was cheating in some way.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Where did this all come from?
I don't know.
These ideas that's cheating. That's
I think it comes from the effort to be unique and to show how great you are, and you do everything from scratch. I'm partly guilty of that as well. I do a lot from scratch, or I like to do my kick and bass from scratch, and it doesn't mean that I don't use samples. But I like to know how it works as well. It helps you in the long run. So. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to learn, but it doesn't hurt to reuse the learned.
Yeah.
And it takes. I was afraid of it for a long time, but because there is a fear of not being unique, or people hear that he used that. It's also part of his.
I heard that in another track he did. I heard that in another track he did.
You can if you're clever enough, you can make it your signature sound, and really just make it your signature sound. It's part of you as well. So don't be ashamed to show that more often.
Yeah.
And if you do it like here, where it's just part of one big thing, where it actually goes under, it just helps to enhance the whole thing. You don't necessarily, nobody will say, hey, this little bip, I heard this one before. So the next sound is let's see on its own. Quite resonanty, squawky duck sound. Overdrive. More low end, which doesn't seem to be logic, but I just wanted to beef it up. A little bit of delay, which has a little automation, which makes movement again. I love to do that. It's like a question and answer with the sound within itself. So the wet portion of the signal goes up once and once down. Okay. And then we have a low shelf. That's something I try to do as well a lot. There is the traditional low cut.
Which looks like you'd already tried.
And I just pulled that up now.
Oh, okay.
But it's at the same frequency. You're right, exactly.
Yeah,
you're correct.
Yeah.
True. I just remembered that. Yeah, that was correct. I've tried. I was switching between because it was roughly the same frequency.
But you set it on the shelf.
I left it on the shelf because I thought in the context it's better. I try to where I can. I try both. Sometimes even in concoction with each other, where I say, okay, I need a smooth roll off here, and then everything that's even below 50 or 60, I need down again. So the thing behind this is that I'm not trying to low cut blindly every channel at the same frequency. When you have 100 channels or 50 channels plus, and you have each single, if you would have signal running through each track, and you would cut each channel with a high
pass?
with a high pass, but on, let's say, on a high dB setting, and if you would do that for the same frequency throughout a range of channels, you would have a ringing problem in that frequency. So I try to alternate between a low shelf, which is sometimes more than enough. I cut out 24 decibel at 245 hertz. So that means I bring 24 dBs down of that frequency. In a lot of cases, that's enough to clean up space, and you don't have that resonant cut. Plus, you still have some, even if it's very low, but you have some low end, some beef of the synth left, because often also beginners struggle with, like, when they cut their leads.
Too thin.
And that's too thin, yeah. So a low shelf could help a little bit with that you cut a little bit lower, because you see here it says I cut at 200, but in reality it was a cut at around 400. Yeah, in reality it was a cut at around, if you would have like this 48 dB setting, it's cutting here. It's just about the 500. There we go. It's just about 500, but it's smoother and it's a shelf. It's a different. Try it out, guys. It's again, it's a very little detail, but when it sums up, it might help you with keeping some low end in your synths while cleaning out the low frequency that you need for the bass. Check it out. I do both a lot, as you can see in the project, but I try to do this as often as I can.
I guess thinking about this kind of takes the autopilot mode off
EQing,
which must put high pass, must put high pass.
To a certain degree, you must. You must clean up your low end. It's that's fact. If you listen to my whole mix, let's do this for a second, and I will just mute kick and bass. Okay, at the full part. Let's say here. You can see occasionally there is something coming through. Also at critical frequencies, you would say we're definitely kicking basses in. But through the low shelf, it's enough. It has a 15 decibel difference. Sometimes it's enough. You don't have to really cut everything off. Just listen. Listen. Do a low shelf. Listen. Is it enough? How does it sound? But definitely below that, it's cleaned up. You don't see anything. You don't see anything poking out. So you need to clean up your low end. You need space. But I believe it's more a matter of not doing this like with my mouse here now. Like
everything and then
like this, more like a crossover, and it kind of like more and it's smoother. It goes into each other. That's also what I'm trying to do with that. Low frequencies up, high frequencies down, and all of that contributes. Low shelf filter, keeping some low in the high frequency content.
Maybe a little less tonal definition in a sense, but it's
you will have enough.
Small price to pay.
You will have enough. You will have enough, because for the single sounds, I indeed use very strong cuts, as you can see here. There are extreme stuff that already is cutting through a lot. I mean, that's why I use it as an effect, because it cuts so much, especially on the kick and bass. You know, it's extreme. You can almost, I would call it an effect. I would, Oops. Try it out. I have different EQs here as well that do. Just here I had a low cut. Just also try to play with how steep your filter is. Could help as well. Here I had like a combination of a 24 dB with a low shelf, which just smooths out this resonancy bit, which helps. Okay, let's move on in those elements of the stabs. I
like it because it's like you're thinking critically about everything you do.
Everything.
There's no real autopilot. You know, doing this because I have to. You know, you haven't done anything because you had to do it. You did it for a reason. You know, there wasn't any sort of prescribed sort of like agenda. Like everything has to be like this. It's just like you listen to it. What does it need?
Yeah,
what does it need?
Yeah, that's a skill I've acquired very very late, and I think that's a very valuable skill, especially when I've learned that in mastering and mixing other people's stuff. You're not biased, you're not emotionally bound, and you can decide, you can make objective decisions which are beneficial for the whole thing, and it really helps. It's something you can also, again, over the years, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So that was the stab. This was just a very short one we've run through. That was the automation. That was the automated bit with the tape delay, and I believe I had some tremolo going on there as well. extremely subtle, extremely subtle. The phases shift. It's just on the one side for a very long time, and it flips to one side very quickly in a quarter cycle. It's smoothed out as well. So yeah, it's just a very slight movement. Slight movement helps in this question and answer thing again. It goes out of the way. I believe I choose this curve because there might have been a gap somewhere which I had to fill, or I had to go out of the way of one sound, some sort of that kind of thing. If one sound is on the left at the same time, because they all have kind of a similar frequency content, you can go out of the way. You don't have to cut the same frequency, just pan it on the other side. Try that first, because you don't have to degrade the sound. Try to move it out of the way. There are 3 dimensions: volume, up and down, left and right panning, reverb, back and forth.
Yeah,
that's it.
Tons of ways of getting sounds out of each other's.
Yeah, wait. You have there's just salt and water to cook with, so use it. This might have been a kick. This might have been a kick that I have. Let me show you this very, very quick. This might have been a kick with my beloved Sonaxis. That might have been on it. When you go to the very lowest setting, you get a... depending how you play with the input gain staging. It has an automation here. Alright, let's move it here. And then a reverb on it, reverse the reverb, put some delay on it. But it was done from a kick, I believe. And this was definitely a reversed reverb of that very sound with a reverb on it. Just turn it around. Very common technique with vocals, how to introduce sounds. So yeah, anyway, this is how you can achieve it. This is an alternation of the same sound that's answering at the end of 16 or 8 bar, just to... yeah, more like a squelchy one. So this was all automation. That's all the creative filter. That was the kick, definitely. I'm sure about that. So again, just a creative filter on that and a stereo delay afterwards. That's just an automation with the filter, and that gives that squawky. That's why I love this filter, because when you have it on a high mode, you can, from any audio source, you can put a cutoff on it, and it sounds amazing. Try it out, guys. Buy the shit. It's good. So that's that. So those are those aggressive. That's those combo sounds.
The shorter, punchier stuff.
Yeah. The shorter, punchier stuff that gives a rhythmy feeling, but tonal at the same time. Okay, so we covered those
short, punchy stuff.
Yeah, so short, punchy, combo, gritty sound stuff, which like rhythmic, tonal stuff that keeps the track going forward. Then we have another group here, which is a bit more orangey. It's some kind of as well leads orange as well, because they're just slightly less aggressive and punchy, but also like I like to split everything out down in colors, also by character of the sound. So let's hear to those one as well together. They also do some kind of question and answer in combination with those. Okay, so that does a question and answer thing
So it kind of just, it looks like physically you've kind of filled in some of the gaps there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Just to have a continuous flow of sounds that complement each other as well. This is a slightly different group of sounds, more soft, but almost at all times something's playing. The frequency spectrum is filled up, so there's not much more space for an arpeggio or something. So this creates the whole movement in the track, if you will. So we can listen to that all together.